What's up guys? This here is the M20 Construct foam dart blaster. It's made by a Singaporean based company called Sabre. While this is one of the best Nerf blasters you can buy, personally I enjoy taking it out to gel ball skirmishes because it shoots so much further and more accurately than any gel blaster can. And I'm not alone in doing that. Up in Queensland, the Brisbane area Nerf group have been arranging combined games for a while now, where the Nerf blasters act as snipers and the gel blasters are more CQB. And they've even gone as far as to make a Speed QB team where they'll only be using Nerf blasters against gel blasters in a competitive CQB setting. Now, something you have to keep in mind when using one of these blasters is that a foam dart is 4.5 times heavier than a gel ball. So at the same velocity, say 300 FPS or so, the Nerf dart's going to hurt a hell of a lot more because it has a lot more kinetic energy on impact. So you do have to be a bit more responsible when using these not to shoot people up close, or it can give people welts that last for over a month. Shooting up close is probably not what you're going to do with these though, because you can actually hit people at 70 meters plus with these. Unlike gel blasters though, there's no restrictions on where you can use a Nerf blaster. In fact, most Nerf-only events are held in a public place like a park. If you are going to play with it in public though, don't make it look too realistic or you can run into trouble, especially in states like Victoria. In this video today, I'll chrono the blaster, I'll test it in a 30-meter grouping on a target, and finally I'll use it in some gameplay against gel blasters. But first of all, some upgrades. This week I received a box of upgrade parts for the M20 Construct thanks to Sabre themselves as well as a group called Warhog's Platoon based in Singapore. I'll leave some social links to both of those down below, but if I had to choose one, if you're planning on getting a Sabre M20 Construct or if you already have one, I'd suggest joining the Sabre Discord server. There's plenty of useful tips on there and like-minded people to chat with. The first thing they've sent me are 2 new barrel options for the M20 Construct. The stock standard barrel is 500mm long, and they've sent over one that is 650mm long. This is to go with their 18 kilo upgrade spring, and this should take the M20 Construct to some insane new velocities. The other barrel they've sent over is this tiny little 350mm one. This is designed to go with their 8 kilo spring and allow you to drop the FPS lower than the 270 that you normally get stock. Of course, it'll also be ridiculously easy to cock the blaster, so maybe for younger players as well, this will be a good option for you with the 8 kilo spring. And here we have just the springs really quick. This is the 8 kilo, then we've got the stock spring, the 14 kilo, and the 18 kilo. Later in the video, I'll test all 3 barrel and spring combinations over the chrono. Something else that I'd just like to quickly mention are that these barrels are compatible with any worker compatible or artifact compatible 13mm ID, 16mm OD Nerf blaster. So this Sabre barrel here, I've actually bought for my upcoming Lynx blaster. It has a rifled muzzle, so it adds a bit of spin to the darts to increase accuracy. Sabre and the Warhog's Platoon also sent me a black Delrin trigger, black Delrin mag release, and black Delrin stock locking lever. Those black Delrin parts are what you'll normally get stock with the M20, but they actually upgraded mine for free to the metal version when I got mine. I will be switching out the metal parts though. I think they're a bit too shiny for something I'm going to show you in a bit, and the black will be a little bit more low-key. Delrin is a super durable material, so I have no issue at all swapping out the metal parts for the Delrin. They also sent me this Delrin piston. This should be lighter than the stock metal one you get with the M20, which should bump my FPS up a tiny bit higher than everyone else's M20s. So I'll be very keen to test this later on and see if it does indeed bump the FPS numbers. It has padding on the front, so I have no issues using this part over the metal one either. I really don't see it breaking. So now I think it's time to show you the coolest thing they sent me. For a while now, Sabre have been producing decal stickers that go onto the M20 Construct and just make it look not so boring. You can get some in the shape of Captain America's shield, you can get some colourful patterns, but Warhog Platoon and Sabre both chipped in and got me a brand new Sabre M20 shell with a multicam sticker on it. This matches the BDU or outfit that I wear to jailball skirmishes, and it will look awesome with what I wear. This sticker design's also up on their website now, so anyone can purchase it. Thanks again, Sabre and Warhog's Platoon. Okay, so now I'll install all of these parts into my current M20. I'll take it out to a jailball field and we'll test the chrono velocities with the 3 different barrels and spring setups. We'll test the accuracy, and finally I'll use it in some gameplay against jailballers. Let's get to it. Isn't this just so cute with a tiny little barrel on it? It's time to chrono the blaster. Start off with this tiny little short barrel and the weakest spring. We'll step up to the stock barrel and stock spring, and then we'll end with the heavy spring and the longest barrel. 144, 161, 140, 146, 144, 145, duplicate 145, and that's it. Can I just say, this thing is so easy to cop. I reckon a bloody 8-year-old could do it. I can do it with one finger. Alright, so now I'm going to chronograph the stock spring and the stock barrel. You might notice on the end here I've just added a decorative outer barrel and decorative suppressor. That doesn't affect performance at all. Let's do it. 264. 261. 266. 264, 250, and 258. Now let's chuck on the longer barrel, chuck in the heaviest spring, and see how hard this thing can shoot. 336. 376. 372, 332, 331, and 312. Alright, I think it's time for the accuracy test. I'm going to be shooting from 30 meters away at a 1 meter diameter target. I'll start off with the shortest barrel and the weakest spring, then I'll go with a medium barrel, medium spring, and finally the longest barrel with the heaviest spring. I've got one of the Novrich low powered variable optics on here, and the mil dots in that at 1x power will make it ridiculously easy to adjust my shots, so that even with this shortest barrel shooting low FPS, I'll be able to get it smack on the target. So one thing I want to point out with this short barrel and 8 kilo spring is just how ridiculously easy it is to prime. I can do it with one finger. This would be ideal for a kid. I had to aim ridiculously high to have it hit the target. I'd say about 30 meters is the maximum range of this 8 kilo spring. So now let's step things up to the 14 kilo spring and the stock length barrel. Alright, so now I've got the stock barrel and the stock spring installed. I've actually gone and zeroed the Novrich LPVO to this setup so that I'm aiming the crosshairs right there, and that's where the darts should hit or thereabouts. Because personally, I think this is the best combination of power to effort required to cock it. So that's what I'll be running in actual games. Let's go shoot it. Wow, so that 14 kilo spring in the 500mm barrel got about a 30 by 30 centimeter grouping on the 1 meter diameter target at 30 meters. Let's chuck in the most powerful spring with the longest barrel and see how that goes. So even though the velocities were pretty inconsistent with the 18 kilo spring, all of the shots hit the target and the grouping is pretty tight. It's not quite as good as the 14 kilo stock spring with the stock barrel, but it's definitely acceptable. Okay, so now let's wrap things up. With the short barrel and the weaker spring, we're getting around 150 FPS and a maximum range of 30 meters. I had to aim ridiculously high to actually hit the target, and that's how I know it's a maximum range of 30 meters. With the stock barrel and the stock spring, we're getting around 260 FPS, which is what I got with the metal piston, so I don't see a huge gain from going to Delrin. And the maximum range with this is, as I've tested before, about 60 to 70 meters. And moving on up to the longest barrel and the strongest spring, we were easily clearing 300 FPS with that, and that would shoot even slightly further than 70 meters. Thing is though, we have an FPS limit here of 300 FPS, so I'll be using the stock barrel and stock spring. I do find it's a bit easier to prime than that heavier spring, so over the course of a day you won't end up wearing out your arm as much as if you use that heavy spring anyway. I also found that the stock spring and the stock barrel seemed to be most optimized for each other. They had the tightest groupings and also the most consistent FPS. If you've ever wanted to be a sniper in a gel ball war, definitely consider taking a Nerf blaster like this. This is not the only one that shoots this kind of velocities and accuracy. There's heaps of others like Caliburns, Lynx, all these 3D printed ones. In gel ball though, the actual gel ball snipers, the bolt action ones and that, they're just not as accurate as Nerf is, having 4.5 times heavier projectiles, not as affected by wind, etc. And in gel ball, if you want to actually use a gel blaster for sniping, you may as well go with an AEG. Shooting a short round burst will definitely improve your chances of hitting someone in gel ball compared to firing a single shot from a bolt action. This thing though, a lot of fun, and I definitely would recommend it. I'll leave you today with some gameplay footage using this against some gel ballers at the Battle for Waterloo here. Thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.
Can you get the guy to fuck the barrel or not? All right.
Bang, bang. Okay, I'll take it. Haha. I don't think the first one hit you. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I can't talk up there.
Oh, nice.
Good job, mate.
Oh, got me.
That's accurate.
Oh, trade.
I've nicked you too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Nice. That was a quick reload.